Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest this segment is Brendan Kennedy. He's the CEO and one of the co-founders as well of Tilray.
Yes.
And of Tilray, which is probably one of Canada's oldest ACMPR licensees. When did Tilray first get started?
Gosh, Tilray was started in the fall of 2013. We had been, originally, the parent company of Tilray President Holdings had been invited to Canada in the summer of 2013 to meet with some of the LP applicants who, this sounds insane to say today, but back in 2013, they had a hard time raising capital. And Tilray's parent company, Privateer Holdings, was known for, one, having capital, and two, known for investing that capital in the cannabis industry. And so we came here to try and invest in LP applicants. Couldn't find a company and a strategy that met our investment thesis, and so we created Tilray in the fall of 2013, bought a building in January 2014, and became licensed. Became licensed March 26, 2014, and shipped the first product to the first patient in April 2014. So I think we were number 10.
Right, okay, number 10. So without exaggeration, you're Canada's first American-Canadian ACMPR licensee.
Yes, we are.
And interestingly enough, we're back to the point where it's very tough for new licensees to raise money in Canada.
Yes, we've come full circle.
That's right. And also in opposition, Brendan, to most Canadian LPs, instead of getting a license and going public right away, Tilray has always opted to remain private. And I'm curious as to what has been the mindset, what is the shareholder sort of exit scenario look like going forward? How is it that you're still private?
Well, we have patient investors. We've been in. I've been in this industry for 8 years.
Patient investors, not investors who are patients.
That's right. Patient investors, not investors. Although some of them might be potential patients at some point in the future. But we started in the industry in 2010. In May 2010, so almost 8 years ago, and we saw an opportunity. We went around the world studying the cannabis industry in California and Oregon and Colorado and British Columbia and Jamaica and Israel. I mean, went around the world and came up with our thesis and have invested accordingly over the last 8 years. And when we saw the regulations, the old MMPR regulations in Canada. The regulations were really different from anything we had seen anywhere in the world, and it was a huge opportunity. And so we created Tilray and have invested heavily over the last 4 years in building the company as really the most recognized medical cannabis brand in the world. Tilray products are available in 10 countries on 5 continents today.
That's amazing. And so you started in, was it Nanaimo?
We started in Nanaimo, British Columbia. We did back in 2013, did a search across Canada for an LP to invest in, couldn't find one, and then did a second search across Canada, really from Toronto west to find a place to build a facility, and ended up about as west as you can get in Nanaimo, where the city had zoned part of the city for, at the time, MMPR licensed facilities. And so the first day there, I met with the mayor, the fire chief, the chief of police, and the president of the Nanaimo Economic Development Corporation, and they were begging us, welcoming us to the city, and so it was just the right place. We made our decision and have never looked back. Tilray was the first company to export medical cannabis from Canada to other countries, and that first export was to the EU. Tilray was the first company to have licenses in multiple countries. So we do have a facility we're building in Portugal. Right. And we're actually building 3 facilities right now. Sure. One in Portugal, one in a town called Enniskillen in southern Ontario, sort of near Sarnia, where we have a 13-acre greenhouse that we're building out for adult use in Canada. And then a facility in London, Ontario, where we'll do processing. And The greenhouse is a new entity that we launched today, High Park Farms.
Right.
The High Park company being our adult use family of brands, our holding company for
Right.
brands.
So I see your press release today. You
Yes.
actually launched High Park as a wholly owned subsidiary. You put $10 million into it, bringing your total investment in the medical marijuana space in Canada over $100 million.
That's right.
And this is all very interesting because a lot of people don't know this stuff and don't follow it. And again, it goes back to the fact that you're a private company and not therefore very much in the public eye. Tell me why or how is it that your shareholders are content to be a private company given the valuations that have been attributed to these companies in the last 4 years?
Yeah, so our investors are patient, and we take a very long view on this industry. You know, there's this misconception that what is happening is a phenomenon that's specific to Canada or California or Colorado or North America, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It's part of our thesis that this is part of a global paradigm shift, and that's why Tilray products are available in 10 countries.
Right.
In many ways, the opportunities in other countries are the ones that really interest us right now in terms of export and licenses in other places, because it's just moving with a velocity unlike anything I've ever seen.
Sure.
And so our investors take a long view that we can build a multi-billion-dollar company so that when you walk into any pharmacy in the world that sells medical cannabis, you'll see a Tilray product. And when you walk into any adult use, adult access store in Canada, you'll see High Park brands,
Sure.
such as Marley Natural and The Good Ship.
Okay, so High Park is specifically positioning for the onset of the recreational market in Canada.
That's right. So Tilray will always be a medical brand. We've spent so much time and energy and money building that brand, not only in Canada but globally. It would be confusing to have that brand be an adult use brand.
Sure.
And Tilray conducts clinical trials and so much research
Right.
on the medical side. So we needed a holding company for the brands that we had been searching for and licensing from the U.S. And so we found a half a dozen brands that we wanted to bring to Canada, and we're working on a few other brands that we're creating by Canadians in Canada for Canadians.
Right.
That will launch over the next year or so. But Marley Natural, Grail, Orissa, The Good Ship, those are brands that have tested brands, trusted brands, tested products in the U.S. that we thought would be interesting to bring here to Canada.
Wow, that's great. So let me ask you, what would it take to make Tilray a public company? Or is that at all even in your imagination?
Oh, this is a capital-intensive industry. We have raised over. I guess I've raised over $250 million to invest in this industry over the last 8 years. And when I look at a $200 billion opportunity globally, I know that additional capital is going to be needed. And so we'll continue to evaluate lots of different opportunities for raising capital. Right.
Okay. What do you see happening for High Park in 2018 and beyond? Let's say, for example, that the delay in the onset of recreational legislation is longer than 2018 and going into 2019. Does that affect your plan, your outlook, or anything?
It would probably affect some of the ramp up that we'll do in a place like London, Ontario, but not High Park Farms. We'll continue to build out that facility. It's a 13-acre greenhouse, about 566,000 square feet. We will get plants in that building here fairly soon, and we have tremendous demand for our products on the adult use side and on the medical side, and so we would just delay some of the processing of the adult use products until the first day of legalization.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's great. Good to catch up with you again. We'll keep an eye on you. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time or so, see how it's going. Thanks for coming in today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.